wrist and the hand, he then has full control. You can then remove the dagger. Or you can miss and get stabbed. Now, if you look at the strength of Dan and Rob, Dan is obviously a lot stronger than Rob, because you're a wimp. Even with Dan holding on to a dagger as hard as he can, Rob can remove the dagger from his hand by using the leverage of his own dagger. So Dan's going to hold as tight as he can, and all Rob's going to do is just twist it, and it comes straight out of the hand. This allows us to disarm people very easily and quickly and efficiently, and then be able to thrust and kill your opponent. Very good. Fury also shows with a single-hander that all you need is one position. You don't need all these different positions, you can do it all from one. It's sometimes known as ladies' guard, because you're actually going to show your back to your opponent. But this allows you to cover all the lines that your opponent can come in for a shot. We'll just let the guys pop some head and hand back on. So here Dan has gone into the position that Fury shows us, and as Rob comes in for any strike he wants, we know that Dan can deliver the parry and then can actually deliver the shot as well. A lot of the martial systems always attack the face, obviously because it's difficult to protect and it's a nice, easy, soft target. This is why we're using fencing masks. We don't normally fight in the modern masks, but it allows us to deliver the shots mainly at full speed and straight into the face. So any shot that Rob's trying to put in, Dan can quite easily defend it using this one position. The commentator's curse. Thrust, good. One more, guys. Okay, we'll move on to some of the longsword stuff. This is where some of the moves from previously need to be trained really well so that you can move on to the longsword so you're not going to get your arms all twisted. If you look at how the longsword's held with one hand, if you imagine how the dagger was held in the hand previously, it allows you to take the wrist and still use the pommel of the weapon as leverage. So if I was to take a parry there, I've still got the pommel now to use for my leverage. Okay. So Fury shows us again that we have many postures using the 4 basic ones, which we looked at previously. This is obviously iron door that Rob's in now. So from here, we've got a few different strikes. What we're going to do is we're going to look at some of the strikes from a higher guard. So we're going to a higher guard, guys. So what we're going to do is, Fury's looking to take the centre line. So I'll show you the centre line really quickly. Shot comes in, here Rob has a centre line, and all he would do is thrust straight forward and onto the face. The shot a little bit quicker, guys. Now, if Dan's quick enough and realises that Rob has a centre line, he can cut over, or he can pommel. Depending on the distance, that's how the knight's going to decide if he's going to cut over and attack the top of the head, or if he's going to pommel to the face. Here, Dan's choosing to pommel. He cut over and slashed to the head this time, Dan. So you can see there he's keeping the distance open a little bit, and he's actually now allowing Rob to take the centre line so that Rob commits to the thrust and then Dan can cut over and hit. Good. Now, if one of them is pushed too hard through the parry and goes past the centre line, Fury shows us what to do. So here, Rob's gone too far. He's now going to step over, cut to the wrist and thrust to the chest. It doesn't look like you can get much force in there, but it's surprisingly effective where you're thrusting straight into the sternum with the weight of these longswords. Cut and thrust. Good. As Dan was showing before, the pommel can also be used on the sword. So this time we're going to look at getting in close and delivering a pommel strike to the jaw, which can actually remove the jaw if done powerful enough. Win and hit. Now if we come in from a different guard, this time we're going to use iron door. and this is one of Fury's opening plays, where he's going to actually thrust to draw an attack, and he's then going to cut over and deliver the shot. So there Dan thrusts, draws the parry from Rob, cuts over and delivers a stroke to the head or the arms. You can then see Dan then cuts back up from the arms, which Fury says will remove the hands, and then he cuts down again just to cover the line. So now he's dead, make sure, and just double checking. This is what Fury tells us. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to move on to some of the duelling. So this is how it would have looked in either a tournament or on the battlefield. There will be a certain amount of knights standing there looking at each other, attempting to find the perfect opening. But unlike the Hollywood films, it's not going to be lots and lots of flailing weapons around. That's far too tiring. You're out there fighting for 2 or 3 hours. You can't do that. You've got to be able to deliver the shot in 1, 2, maximum 3 moves. So you'll see once the attack goes in, the shot will be very, very quick from there. When you're ready, guys. Then Rob's gone straight through for a thrust. One more strike, guys. I will leave it there. Well done, men. What we'll do for you now, man, is we'll now move on to the arms and armour of the time, and we'll show you how some of the other weapon combinations would have been used, and then we'll show you a tournament and how people would have actually trained at the time and actually allowed themselves to just have a little bit of a tournament in a pub in the evenings. So I'll hand you back to Graham.
Thank you, guys. Can we have a bit of a round of applause for them, Mark? It's far more dangerous and difficult than it looks, honest. Right, this brings us on to the second part of our show for this morning. What we're going to do is build up to showing you a behold, which was a tournament used from Viking times right up to about the 14th century. Leading up to that, though, we're going to show you through the arms and armour used in the day. Now we've got a various ragtag crew of motley looking people over there, wearing lots of different types of armour, carrying lots of weapons. So we'll just give you a little show through now. So from the basic foot soldier, if we have one ready, there we go. Some of you may recognise him as our lovely squire earlier. As you can see, he's very lightly armoured. We've got a padded jacket or a gambeson, which is lots and lots of layers of wool, or it could be sewn tubular and stuffed with wool and straw and anything else useful. That will take a bit of the impact out of the blow, but it's absolutely no good against stabbing or thrusting or cutting or crushing. It's not good against much, to be honest. It's not going to stop a real killing blow. He's got a little bit of chainmail here, protect him around the neck a bit, and apart from that, nothing much going on. So next up, have we got someone in mail? Here we go. We got Terry in here, all in his splendour, bless him. As you can see, this is quite a heavily armoured knight. We've got a full mail hauberk on him, sleeves come right down to the wrists, he's covered down to the knees, padded underneath the knees. Now the padding becomes effective underneath the chain, or the mail as it was called. Chainmail was a term invented by the Victorians. So at that period this is called mail. Basically it's thousands and thousands of little round washers all attached together, riveted up for strength. This will protect from a good slicing blow. You could cut at them all day and you'll blunt your knife. Thrusting, however, isn't so great, but with the padding underneath it does take a lot of impact out of the blows, so long as people are slashing and hacking at you, you're fairly safe from it. You'll also see he's wearing the male coif, which protects the head, and underneath a very small helmet we call a secret, because it's usually hidden away under a larger helmet. Also got a shield with its coat of arms on it, the sword, all fairly well equipped. Off you go, chap. And next up we'll have one of the guys with a little bit more armour. We haven't got anyone fully armoured for this show, but we will later on. As you can see, Adam here is now wearing a few bits of plate armour in addition to everything else he's carrying. Now the plate armour was a lot more effective against stabbing blows. Everything will just glance off there. So as the armour was developed, so were the weapons to counteract the effectiveness of the armour. So we'll now show you through, and we're going to use the lovely Adam as a model here, seeing as he's got a bit of armour on. We'll show you through all the weapons, or a lot of the common weapons you'd have seen on the battlefield in the day. Can we have a willing spearman, please? Pete? Ed? Alright. Contrary to all the films and beliefs and books and anything else you'll see, the sword was not the most common weapon you'd see on the field. Virtually everyone on the field would be carrying a spear. It's cheap, it's light, and most of all, it keeps the horrible, sweaty, nasty, bad people as far away from you as possible. Also very effective against most types of armour, because it's a thrusting weapon, there's a lot of power behind it, it'll go through chainmail, it'll leave a big dent in your plate armour as well, and it'll generally stop someone from really wanting to get too close. And if Adam here was on his trusty steed, because he likes this bit, bless him. As you can see now, Pete has set his spear, and no matter how well you train the horse, the horse will never be quite stupid enough to run onto a big pointy spear. So from there, have we bought all the other weapons? Huh? Yeah. Okay, we're going to move on to a bit of spear fighting now. I've been reliably informed we've left most of the other weapons up at the camp. You're more than welcome to come and have a look later though. And also in our afternoon show we'll go through a more comprehensive run through of some of those weapons. So what we're going to show now is the very sort of low-end foot soldier combat. Both armed with spears, possibly small daggers, just in case they get too close. Off you go. I'm going to run and hide.
I need to get
Okay, that's a bit of spear fighting for you there.
technically got 5.
And for me as well. Right, we'll move on now to a couple of people with swords and shields. Just a single-handed sword and a shield for now. As we demonstrated earlier, the shield was not just effective as protection, but could also be used very offensively as well. We don't just mean writing naughty words on it. So I'll get a couple of the chaps up here. Come right up the front, guys. Guys, do you want to go up that way a bit so people can see you better? Right, ladies and gents, as you can see, they're not being very energetic or enthusiastic at all today. The really good way to actually improve their fighting is if you start cheering for them. But not when I'm stood too close, because they might hit me or something. Give them a shout, come on! Or not, by the looks of it. Right, ladies and gents, we shall next have Adam and Dan doing the bit they enjoy most, like all brothers. They're going to beat the living daylights out of each other.
I'm going to win!
Just so you know, for your cheering, this lovely specimen here, who looks a bit like D'Artagnan when he's got his helmet off, is Adam.
Good cheer!
If you want Adam, come on, for Adam. And this less lovely specimen here is Dan. So if you want Dan, show Dan! So remember, Dan, Adam, cheer lots! You will have to cheer louder, they can't hear much through those helmets. As you'll notice with the guys, they're all back there taking on absolutely tons of water. Even though we're not very heavily armed at the moment, we will be later on. Because of all the padding we wear, we usually sweat and that will actually cool the body down. It just gets trapped within layers and layers of padding. It's like wearing a quilt on a day like this. So if you see them a little bit out of puff, it's not because we're really fat and unfit and drunk too much last night. It is because of the weather and all the gear we have to wear. Honest. Right, what we're going to do then, this part of the show we're going to demonstrate the Beherd, which as I said earlier was a tournament. It was brought about around about the 10th century, and it was a way of stopping knights, challenging each other constantly and ending up hurting or killing each other, which wasn't very useful for the lords. So they developed the Beherd, where basically with blunted weapons they'd have a tournament, all the guys would start off in a circle and fight till one person remained. It was a good way of getting your anger out, getting training done, and basically developing all your skills. So we have all the chaps up here. We're going to be really nasty now and do about 2 or 3 of these. And they'll basically fight each other till one man is left standing, or possibly woman, you never know. But they're going to fight till there's one person left standing in each round. Are we all ready, chaps? I'm not going to give you everyone's names to cheer, so just cheer randomly. Ready? see, there's no real rules or chivalry about this. People will gang up, 1 against 2, 2 against 3, anything. They'll just go for it until one man's left. It's very competitive, and they're just out to win. They're not necessarily going to get too hurt or killed or anything else.
Come on!
Always with the sneaky English spearman. Are we down to a spearman? Ladies and gentlemen, Pete the Spearman. As you can see, it's not always the flashy swords that win the day. It's the sneaky sod behind you with a long pole and the pointy bit. Are we all ready? Are we all ready for another go? Are we dead excited? I think you should cheer a bit more, please. Because otherwise they're just going to stand there. Come on, guys. Are we all ready? Chaps? You're never ready. Okay, ladies and gents. Cheer lots for them again.
There's lots more that you don't know, that you haven't seen. Alright, you need to be out here,
Behind you!
Come on, ladies and gents, make a bit more noise for them. And you never know, they might actually come back towards the arena a bit so you can see their pretty faces. Or Dan's. Did you win? Do you want to do one more? Do you want to see them hurt each other a bit more? Are you sure about that?
More hurt!
Are you all ready, chaps? I want more noise this time. Because they do actually fight harder with noise. Honest.
More hurt!
Right, we'll change the rules of this one ever so slightly, right? So, much like last time, yeah, there's not too much in the way of rules. We'll do it by colour coordination on this one. So anyone wearing green is on Dan's side. Okay, I'll join your side then. And anyone with any yellow on them at all, or white, or black, or red, is on the other side. I'm a very bad person. Are we ready?
Yeah!
Go on then, chaps! You better all beat each other up a bit more now.
Come on!
each other. Do you want to come a little bit closer to the crowd so they can see the sun glint off your yellowing teeth? Are they going now?
Is that close enough?
Maybe this side a little.
No, what?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a draw! Okay, chaps, you can stop now. Alright, ladies and gents, we've got time for one final little bash now. So we're going to have one last behold if the boys are up to it, but with only daggers.
Only daggers?
Knives or short swords only if you got them.
I haven't.
Okay, are we all ready, chaps? And go for it! Contrary to how it looks, this is actually a combat display, not medieval dancing.
By the castle. Yeah. The what? The gladiators. The simulator, you know? I don't bloody. Yeah,
And they haven't even bought each other a drink yet.
just over the bridge and head towards as you're going in the castle. You can see them on the side
Yeah, you bite. I knew that would change your mind. Ladies and gentlemen, done! Thank you very much for your attention the last hour. We've been the nice Longshanks. We're over in the encampment there if you want to come and see us, ask any questions, try some of the armour. And we're back at 2:30 with more.